Is Alabama Senator Katie Britt. She's a member of the Senate Appropriations Committee. Senator, it's great to have you this morning. Thanks so much for being here. And you heard my conversation with John Thune, the majority leader, and we just saw those clips of McConnell and Collins. What's your take? Is there not enough time? Because I know you wanted to try to get a third reconciliation package out before the midterms, which would mean you need to get it done before your August recess.
Absolutely, Maria. Well, first off, thank you for having me on. Happy birthday to the Army, happy Flag Day, and of course, happy birthday to President Trump. It is such a great day that President Trump is actually delivering peace there in a region that we know has produced chaos and has taken American lives for over 47 years. I am very excited about what's to come and appreciated everything that your previous guest had to say. So thank you to him for making all of this happen. When it comes to continuing to advance his agenda, look, we are not going to stop until we get it done. You saw us be able to pass this reconciliation 2.0 last week. Obviously, would have loved to have done that sooner, but ultimately what that did was get ICE and CBP funded for the remainder of President Trump's term. Yeah. Maria, we've got to look at this for what it is. Democrat obstruction at every single turn. We have made sure that we have secure borders and safe streets under President Trump's leadership, and we're not going to back away from that. We showed that this past week. When we're looking at a reconciliation 3.0, look, we're going to do what it takes to make sure that our military is funded. Look at what President Trump has done with the greatest military on the planet over the last 6 to 9 months. They have accomplished things that others thought were impossible. You think about the products, the byproducts of that. I mean, we saw what happened with Tren de Aragua this weekend, and taking out not only, their ultimate leader. So we've got to make sure, Maria, that our troops have what they need to keep Americans safe and to keep peace and prosperity moving across the globe. So yes, we will do what it takes. And if that is a reconciliation 3.0, then that's what we'll do. We would love to go through the regular appropriations process. But Maria, at the end of the day, Democrats have shown they are absolutely unwilling to work with Republicans in any way, shape, or form. Yeah. Their hate for President Trump clouds their vision. They are putting that in front of the safety and security of the American people. It is my guess that they don't come to the table through the regular appropriations process. And then we have to take a look, Maria. Is that a reconciliation 3.0 do we do? Is it a shutdown fairness? Is it a Prevent Government Shutdown Act? Look, everything will be on the table because failure is not an option. We're going to make sure to keep the people of America safe. We're going to make sure that the greatest military in the history of this planet has what they need to continue the job that they're doing. And we're not going to let Democrats who are now run by anti-socialist, literally, I mean, they're run, excuse me, Maria, they are run by anti-Semitic socialists. And we're not going to let those people win the day.
Yeah. So you say that you've got all of these ideas. What do you believe would be the most important thing that the GOP needs to accomplish before the midterm elections now?
Yeah, well, we've got to get the job done. We've got to work to get the government funded. We need to go ahead and expose Democrats for what they are. You think about them letting FISA expire when we're having the World Cup here in the United States, saying, hey, we've got all of these visitors here, millions of visitors here. We have what is equivalent to 11 plus Super Bowls across the country with over 78 games. And they decided to let our intelligence agencies go dark after President Trump had said, look, we need to keep doing what we're doing. We need to continue to improve these things, but we need to make sure that we have the resources that we need. We're seeing that, I think, when it comes to this on appropriation. So I think we need to smoke them out. I think Democrats are never going to do anything that they think is going to, quote, help President Trump. And what has happened is, unfortunately, they've put that hatred for him ahead of actually doing their job. So I think we need to expose that sooner rather than later and find a pathway forward. I think we have a housing bill that obviously we want to make sure that affordability is front and center. The Working Families Tax Cuts did a great job in delivering results. So we got to keep delivering those results that President Trump has put in front of us. And I know that there are many of us in the Republican conference that are committed to that. And also, of course, Save America. Look, after what we just saw, the Save America Act is critically important. It is wildly popular with the American people. So finding ways, whether that is portions of that through Reconciliation 3.0 no, or whether that is, finding ways to pass that bill or doing it incrementally. At the end of the day, getting the job done is what is most important. And I think after what people have seen, counting ballots for over a week in California in a mayoral election, people are over this and they want to have faith in their elections once again.
Well, you said that defense spending is really important and to keep Americans safe in that regard. So do you support the president's call for a $1.5 trillion defense budget in 27?
Look, absolutely. I support the goal, and I support finding every way possible to achieve that.
Yeah.
We'll look at what we have in front of us. We'll look at what the budget is, Maria, and then we'll figure out how to make it work or how to get as far down the field, so to speak, as possible. Look, President Trump has made a call across the globe, and people are stepping up. They're actually investing in their military spending. We must be doing the same. So we'll look at what we have in front of us and figure out how best to make that happen. And get, like I said, get as much of that done as possible.
You questioned Secretary Rubio recently on Iran. The president is headed to France tonight for the G7 meeting. I understand that there will be lots of side meetings with Gulf allies at the G7. Do you believe Iran's nuclear capability has been permanently set back? And would you expect a deal today?
Yes, look, and there is no one better at making a deal than President Trump. When you put President Trump and Secretary Rubio, and I know Vice President Vance, they are all working diligently to make sure that we not just get a good deal, but we get the very best deal. This will not be a deal like the JCPOA that allows Iran to continue to seek its nuclear ambitions by way of payment of pallets of cash. Yeah. I think that this, from what we've seen so far, has been structured very appropriately. I look forward to seeing the details of that, but I am glad that someone's finally holding Iran accountable and putting the safety and security of Americans first. This is a long time coming, and I appreciate the work that's been there to get it done.
We know that the president wants more money allocated to drone technology, and Alabama has become a major hub for aerospace and defense and manufacturing, so we'll be checking back with you along the way. Senator, good to see you this morning. Thank you. Katie Britt,
please do.
This morning.
Please do.
Thank you.